I'm Shay Russell from mining.com.au, and joining me today is the CEO of Starcore International Mines, Robert Eadie. Robert, it's a pleasure to have you back on. How are you?
I'm great, Shay. Thank you very much for having us back on. This will be session number 2 with Shay.
It certainly will be. And the wicked never sleep. There's been a lot happening since we last spoke, just this week, actually. Now, on the 7th of July, you announced a spin out of your properties on the Ivory Coast. Can you sort of go into some of the details behind this?
Yes, well, what we've decided to do is we weren't receiving any value for what we're doing in Africa, and we think it's very attractive what's going on in West Africa. And we've decided to spin the projects out, and for date of record, or when the date of record is established, which is the date that the stock exchange approves the plan of arrangement, we will then mark those shareholders and they'll receive a half a share of the new company as a dividend of Starcore. So as a bonus for being loyal shareholders, and we will then build out the spin out with its own management, fund it, and set it so that it has its own momentum, and that's separate from what we've done because we've made another announcement and to further our endeavors in Mexico.
And then just a couple of days later, you announced a lease with a historic silver project called Tortilla in Mexico. Mate, what are the particulars of this one?
Well, we were very fortunate. We've been working on, we look at projects all the time. And for one reason or another, they make it or they don't make it. Either that the particular owner wants too much money, the metallurgy doesn't work, it's not attractive enough, it's in an area which is really hard to get to. So, very few, as mining people know, very few projects make it to the success. This is within 2 hours of our current operating mine. So we will use our infrastructure at the mine and we'll truck what we call cash rock. So rocks that are worth money, we'll ship that over to the mine and process it. Now, if you go back a little bit in history, we were successful in establishing a carbon circuit. So we're able to treat ore which has carbon, and that's for our own mine. And this mine has remained historical and not in operations because it also has carbon attached to the silver and gold. And so for us, it's the perfect shoe. It fits fantastic, and the owner, it's from his father, so he didn't want to sell. So he thought a lease would be great, and we thought a lease would be great as well, with a 2% NSR. And then the owner has the option to sell it to us over the next 10 years for $7 million US. Now, no modern science has been used to discover what's there or not there. There is very high grade silver with some gold, and it is narrow veins, but that's what we specialize in. That's what the San Martin mine is. And the folks in Australian mining will understand the narrow veins very well. So some people can do it extremely well. Canadians do it very well, particularly from Quebec, and Australians do it very well. And the rest of the world, no.
We certainly do. Obviously, it's been a busy week for you, so it's probably a little selfish of me to ask the next question. But what else can investors look forward to hear from you? What are the follow-up steps to these announcements?
Well, the rollout of the spin out, it'll actually become its own public trading company. It'll get management. I'm sure, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, there'll be other projects in Africa that will come to it to see or to build up, what we're doing there. So that will be very exciting in itself. And Western Africa right now is going through a mining boom. And so to give it the attention it really needs a full time team there. And because of the announcement with Starcore and the new silver mine, it's better that we separate them and then we focus on what we're doing in Mexico that just will work much better for us. Or we believe as management that will be the case. So we're always striving in no matter what the circumstances are economically or with the stock market to deliver value to shareholders. and any way that we can within reason.
Listen, Robert, thank you very much for speaking with me. As I said, it's been a very big week for Starcore International Mines. It was a pleasure speaking with you, and I look forward to speaking with you again.
Great. Thank you very much, Shay. We appreciate the time. Have a great weekend.